weather, through all of the storms. We've got to come together, 'cause in the end we can make it.
Are we at a crossroads in America? Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us. AFA Today, from the studios of AFA Today in the New York City area. And, of course, every day, keeping our eye on what's going on so that you're up to date on the latest. As we have been discussing the World War II memorial controversy, scandal, outright, I don't know, is this just a black eye on America this week? There have been other memorials that have also been closed or attempted to be closed. Give you a couple of stories about two of them, and another one that kind of is in keeping with what we just heard from Governor Huckabee. The games that politicians play, writes the Washington Times, Barack Obama is having a lot of fun using the government shutdown to squeeze the public in imaginative ways. The point of the shutdown game is to see who can squeeze the hardest, make the most pious speech, and listen for the applause. It's a variation on the grade school ritual of you show me yours, I'll show you mine. This is according to the Washington Times writer Wesley Pruden. But he goes on to say that it's not just the World War II memorial that has been closed down. He did go and he spoke with a Park Service ranger yesterday, and the Park Service ranger is actually quite angry. He says this is a cheap way to deal with the situation. We've been told, said the Park Service ranger, we've been told to make life as difficult for people as we can. It is disgusting. Now, who are the park rangers working for? Friends, this isn't a nebulous chain of command. This isn't something that you can just say, oh, well, someone over there. No, the National Park Service, the NPS, has said for the last 2 days that their orders come directly from the White House. Someone was on this show and used the word despicable 2 days ago, and it made someone really angry, and someone else called and said, how dare you say that the White House is despicable? But you have National Park Service rangers that are being told to, quote, make life as difficult for people as we can. It's disgusting. If we can't say despicable, can we at least agree that it is disgusting, what they're being told to do? It wasn't just the World War II memorial either. This is a crazy, crazy question that came to my mind earlier today when I was speaking with Governor Huckabee. But why did he single out World War II? There's no barricade in front of the World War I memorial, which is an open-air memorial, and you can walk up to it, and you can do whatever around it, and maybe it could be hit by vandals. There's no barricade around the Vietnam memorial. Why the World War II memorial? And not just on our continent. It was revealed yesterday that the D-Day landing and the Normandy memorials have also been closed. Yeah, over there in France, where we have, a couple of people that, I don't know, do they open a gate at 7 in the morning and lock it at 10 o'clock at night so people can walk in and out through the memorials? Whatever they do, they have now locked those memorials down as well. Why World War II? What is it about World War II that has this president so vexed? Because he's not treating all the memorials equally. The Weekly Standard has a picture of the barricades that were put up, and then the wires that wound around the bars that kept them together, the forklifts that were coming in and tractors using them to get things in place, and then bringing in the sandbags. They've got pictures of the sandbags and the reinforced barricades and the locks and the chains and all the rest of it. You go just a little ways down further in Washington, D.C., there's World War I Memorial. It has a single piece of gate that has some sort of sign on it. It's supposedly a barricade, but it is, other than that, 360 degrees around it, you can walk right up to it. There's nothing preventing it. Why World War II? What is it about World War II that has this president so enraged? It's interesting to consider, isn't it? That he went so far as to even in Normandy and D-Day and those memorials, got to shut them down as well. Why World War II? Why Normandy? Why the D-Day Liberation Memorial? Anyway, Park Service rangers on the record, quoting to the Washington Press, This is a cheap way to deal with the situation. We've been told to make life as difficult for people as we possibly can. It's disgusting. Now, that's a man who's brave, because he'll probably lose his job for saying that. But he's telling the truth, and I applaud him for doing just that. 888-589-8840. Any reaction you have to any of this, I would welcome your discussion on it. I wanted to bring another story to your attention. The Pisgah Inn on the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is in North Carolina. It's a private hotel that holds a concession on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it's become a national sensation as it defies intimidation and a National Park Service order to close its doors. After a few tumultuous days, the inn owner, Bruce O'Connell, told the Washington Times on Friday morning that he had just reopened his doors for customers, despite the Park Service telling him he had to shut down. He says he's essentially private property on a road that's still open and uses no government personnel. He sees no reason to quit operating. He says, beyond that, I'm questioning their authority to shut me down. The National Park Service is involved in several high-profile battles during the shutdown, including having barricaded open-air monuments in Washington. We were just talking about that. But the Park Service closures extended throughout the country, shuttering parks. We know of some of those. And many of the private businesses that run concessions in them, such as the City Tavern in Philadelphia and the Nazette Knoll Motor Lodge on Cape Cod. The Pisgah Inn, in which Mr. O'Connell described as one of the last mom-and-pop places along the Blue Ridge, is just southwest of Asheville, North Carolina, and while most national parks are closed, the Park Service has deemed the Blue Ridge Parkway a thoroughfare and has left it open. But they want the hotel to shut. The places that I just mentioned in Philadelphia and in Cape Cod, they're also private businesses. But the president believes it has the authority to come in and shut down things that have no connection to the U.S. federal government whatsoever. What is this but tyranny? What is this but an overreach by a power-hungry mongrel who wishes to see a free society crushed beneath his grip? What is this? You have an argument with the other political party. Have that argument. Why are you punishing small business owners who have every right to have their private businesses open while you go through your little temper tantrum? This I do not understand, and I'm not trying to be unnecessarily provocative. I'm taking up the understanding of these business owners, and I feel their pain. If I were in their shoes, I would be doing exactly the same thing. I would be defying the order because it is not the National Park Service's order to give. They have no constitutional authority to do this. And they have no constitutional authority to shut down the World War II Memorial and the other open-air memorials in Washington, D.C. They have no authority. The attorneys looked at it yesterday. Constitutional experts. There are no protests going on at these memorials, merely people that want to go and do what people normally do at memorials, and that is to look at them. No one is planning a rally. No one has speeches engaged. Nothing. This is an overreach by a power-hungry government that is out of control. And this inn owner in North Carolina on the Blue Ridge Parkway is saying, no, you can give me your order. We're not going to follow your instructions because we are not under your authority. (888) 589-8840. The Normandy and D-Day landings. Those memorials had to be shuttered and locked. This is odd. This is really odd, really sad. 888-589-8840. One other story I want to throw in there, and then I'm going to open the phones and just go to phones the rest of the hour. Dateline, Mississippi, last night. The Ole Miss University football team is on the verge of being sanctioned with a borderline hate crime because they were forced to go and watch the Laramie Project, the Matthew Shepard story in the theater class that some of them are taking in freshman year. And the story coming out of there is that they said some untoward things towards the cast members. They used sexual gender slurs. I don't even know what you call them. Gender slurs? Is that what it is? But they said some not nice things, some unacceptable things to the cast members, evidently disrupted the cast members because they were shaken and really couldn't finish the play, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, some forces on the campus of Ole Mississippi are very angry that the football team behaved this way, and they're charging them. They're on the borderline of charging them with a hate crime. And the coaches said, we'll get to the bottom of it and we'll punish anybody that did something wrong. Now, if they were using slurs and being openly disrespectful in the showing of the play, that is certainly punishable by the rules of the university. I understand that. But why on earth is a university requiring students to go and watch a play about the life of Matthew Shepard? We were told that Matthew Shepard was a man who was beaten solely for the cause of his sexual orientation, that he was lured into a place, he was beaten without mercy, and that he was left for dead. The truth, 15 years later, that has been revealed in some of the books and stories that have come out is that he was actually a meth dealer. One of the men who beat him to death was not only someone that he knew, but someone that he had been sexually involved with, and that there wasn't this innocence and glow of abject bigotry that was carried out against him because of his homosexuality, but rather a meth deal gone bad. In 15 years of interviews and talking with everyone related to Matthew Shepard and the two criminals in the case, the new book that is out, came out this last month, it describes all of this. Why am I going into great detail on this? For this very same reason. Why is this university telling these football players that they are required to watch this garbage on the theater stage? Is it similar to why the federal government believes it can muscle the business owners that are operating private business enterprises? Is it the same way that the president is muscling the 70 and 80 and 90-year-old veterans that are coming to Washington, D.C. to try to see a memorial that was built in their honor? But the National Park Service ranger confesses we are being told to make life as miserable for them as possible. Friends, where is the honor in our society today? Because you know what? None of this has anything to do with Obamacare. And you want to call and get all uppity about, well, everybody should have health care insurance. That's a legitimate argument to have. But none of this has anything to do with that. Zero. This is an administration that is exercising vengeance upon an innocent population, trying to exact its will, hoping that it will manipulate their political opposition into capitulating on an issue that they should be in a room negotiating over instead of letting all of this other nonsense happen. When is enough enough? I would say we passed that about 6 years ago, but nobody listens to me. Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us. 888-589-8840. All right, let's talk to Clayton calling from Louisiana. Hi, Clayton. You're up first on AFA Today. Welcome.
All right, let's talk to
Clayton, are you there? Hello, Clayton, Louisiana. I know you're there. I hear the radio in the background.
Let me turn
Clayton, are you there?
I'm
Hello,
here.
Clayton.
You got me?
I do.
Okay. Kevin, amen to everything you say. I'm exasperated. I understand that this whole thing, the shutdown, it really revolves around Obamacare. I understand that. I understand that, medical costs are out of sight and something needs to be done, but why in this world, and I could be totally wrong, but government, everything they put their hands on just fizzles. Did anybody ever think about maybe getting the doctors, the AMA, American Medical Association, and I'm sure the hospitals have some kind of association, and the insurance companies together to figure this thing out to where they could come to some kind of agreement that would benefit all of them and also the patient, and not, and not the government. The government messes up everything that they touch.
They haven't even rolled this out fully yet, Clayton, and it's already messed up. Kathleen Sebelius' home state of Kansas have had 0 enrollees into the program. The state of Louisiana have had 0 enrollees into the program. People have been bounced off of their other insurance coverage once they go into the Obamacare system, and they're finding out that now their deductible goes from $4,500 a year to like $26,000 a year. There's so many reports of these incidents, it's hard to keep track of them all. But that's a perfect example of what you're saying. The government starts to try to spearhead it, and look at what it turns into. Did we lose Clayton?
Not the government.
Say that again, Clayton. I missed that.
The people that know what they're doing, the hospitals, the doctors, the insurance companies, get them together and let them figure it out.
The only medical doctor in the Senate, Dr. Tom Coburn from Oklahoma, actually put forward a plan that was very similar to your idea, Clayton. He put forward a plan that would bring in patients' representatives, hospitals' representatives, doctors' representatives, and the insurance companies to sit down kind of equally and say, how do we solve this problem? President Obama didn't like Senator Coburn's plan, and it's too bad because America doesn't like the president's plan. And that's not being partisan, that's just observing truth. I'm Calvin McCullough. This is AFA Today on AFR Talk. Stay with us.